Good. So look, we got a late summer color and it's winter. So how about that? So finally it's here. I've never seen a year where we've had color so late into the season. But this is a pretty cool one. We're going to show you a bunch of these 1 gallons that we have. We talked about it. They didn't make the order forms when they went out, so that's why we want to do a little extra on them. But it was through a program that we were doing, and things changed, and we have them available. So we want to try to get you excited about it. Some new things you can look to sell. So this one, we've talked about this one before, but really have had trouble getting it up and running. But this is Aronia ground hog, or actually, is it ground hug or hog?
It says hog on the Great Plains.
Okay. It went back and forth. There was some kind of problem with the name, but anyways, long story short, it's kind of a creeper. It kind of stays really close to the ground. It is an Aronia. It is definitely considered a native. So it has, a lot of potential out there. We're trying to figure out how this plant really fits. It's sometimes difficult to make these 1 gallons work for price breaks and price points, but we're able to do this one right now. We have 350. And you can see there, you get that great flower. I do not expect this one to really berry. I have not seen it. It might when it gets a lot older. I don't think we'd ever see it in the nursery, or the garden center would ever see it. So don't talk about berries or anything, but you get great flower, that white flower early in the spring there, and then you get this beautiful foliage and clean foliage through the year. So next is an azalea that you might not be familiar with. We were able to bring these in for sales for you to beef up the white numbers. So this is Hino White. We brought in Hino White this last spring. We seem to move through those. Hino White, Hinos are pretty tough in our environment. Sorry. And so they're good any place you can send a Hino to right now. We did bring in Pleasant White, but those are in a 3-gallon. But the Hinos were really all we could find in the 1 gallon there. But that gives you a nice, you can see there, great size on that gallon. It's going to be loaded with buds, so we're looking good there. So instead of Cascade, which is our normal white, be looking for Hino White and push that as a substitution. So we got some Sunjoy. So we got Sunjoy Citrus. This is one we don't really have in our production plan, but we have some 1 gallons. And these are all today photos. So, definitely all the proven winners are on the proven winner website. So you can get, photos at their peak. But you can see there, we got real good sizing. Sunjoy Tangelo, that should be one that you're familiar with. So you can you get those kind of different colors of red in it throughout the growing season, and then the fall color is just spectacular. So that's a little bit bigger one, a little more aggressive. Sunjoy Citrus is a little more, a little smaller, a little more compact. So there's two. Those are both in a 1 gallon. Clethra, Sugartina, Crystallina. So this is one that we've trialed out over the years. We have just a few here, 128, but you can see there we had some good sizing. As a summer bloomer, Clethra, just like all the other Clethras. It has clean foliage. It seems to have good disease resistance, good winter hardiness from what we've seen. I'm still always cautious with Clethra. They can be troublesome, mostly because they don't shut down right in the fall. But try this crop here. There's 128 of those. We got some Firelight. You should be very familiar with Firelight hydrangea. These are also in a 1 gallon. Switch to the photo. There we go. So you can see there the fall color going on, but really what I want you to see is the structure. We got good structure, nice size plant, good package. And then the Limelight, same thing. You should be very familiar with Limelight, but you can see there, they're not stretched out. The guys did a great job trimming them, beefing them up, keeping them full. There's 2,000 of these. that's a great thing for retail, obviously. We're also going to be pushing them through our e-commerce as well on all these 1 gallons, but you have the opportunity to book them and ship them in the spring. Hydrangea Pinky Winky, another one that you should be very familiar with. You can see they're great size and shape. So a lot of 1 gallons. We'll jump into Blue Stars here. So we're able to get these gorgeous 12-inch plus Blue Stars in 3 gallons. That really helps beef our number up. And we got a significant number, 1,500. So I just lucked out on these. Don't ask me how I got them. I'm not even sure how I got them, but I got them, and I got them at a price that we can turn a profit on. So that will really help our Blue Stars. 2s might be, a little iffy. I don't know. We might be okay on a 2-gallon number, but just remember, if that gets tight over the winter, we got these gorgeous 3s out there. So some Potentillas. So Happy Face Potentilla. So these are proven winners. I was really impressed. This is the first time I've grown these this summer. I was very impressed at how well they did. Usually with Potentillas, we put them in like a high tunnel, kind of cut the light down. We got to watch not to overwater them, all kinds of things you got to be careful with on Potentilla. These performed out in the nursery with no extra help, which was great to see. So you got, the pink one, which is Hearts, and then you got another one, which is Pink Paradise, and then you got the yellow, which is a much bigger yellow than Goldfinger is, the flower. So you can see a few, and these are today photos, and they're still performing, which is amazing. So, as long as they perform through the winter, we'll see how they do and how they break in the spring. We might try to bring some of these online to help with the Potentilla, because some of the Bloomin' are a little rougher. So we'll see if maybe this is a better way to go. Fire Chief. So we got some Fire Chiefs in. This is a 2-gallon. You can see here, just going to be to spec. Don't oversell it. You can see there, it's just a little bit over the can. If you're really looking for quality and sizing, definitely our 3-gallon is the way to go. We got some beautiful 3s out there, and I think we still have availability on those. But we brought some 2s in. They'll be a cheaper price, so you might have a little niche market you can run those through. Viburnum Blue Muffin, we're running pretty short on these. These are the 1 gallons. So you can see here that we got a real nice package there. Pregans is what you can go ahead and go to Pregans. I was trying to talk on that. We ran raised short on Pregans. Brought in some nice 3s. You guys totally, we all together stripped the 22 crop. It's completely gone. So the only thing I have out there is what we actually just shifted for 23 for next fall. So those won't be online till, sometime June, July-ish. So I know this isn't enough. I'm still looking, but at least I was able to bring these in. And they're a nice size, and they'll be a good package price, especially for, mostly these seem to go towards the landscape side of things. Weigela, Midnight Wine Shine. This is a fairly new one to us. I think, do we have a 3? I think. Yeah, we have a 3-gallon crop that's kind of new to us this year. And then this is the 1 gallon. So we got some really nice gallons out there. There again, this is a fantastic retail package. I just really want to drive home the quality of these gallons. A lot of work, a lot of effort went into keeping them short and beefy, and so these would be great to land it on a bench in spring, things like that. Weigela Spilled Wine should be one that you're definitely familiar with, but it's in a 1-gallon package. So and you can see there the size, the quality, all that. Most of these gallons, how the growers were able to finish them they're very close to what a 2 gallon would be. So even though they're in a 1 gallon, they're a full gallon. They're what's called a PF 400. So there's two different kind of gallons out there in the market. There's a PF 300 and a PF 400. The PF 400 is a full heavy gallon. The PF 300 is kind of a cheater gallon. So a lot of people out there use that cheater one. For this program, we went to a little bit bigger pot. Proven Winners is really pushing everything towards the PF 400. They don't want that smaller pot, so a lot of that's changed. So that gives us a little more room, and we're able to get a little bit bigger plant that's comparable to a 2 gallon. The only other thing I got is we were trying to get it out there before the allocation. We just got in some green giant arbs. I brought them in expecting them to be in a 7-gallon pot. That's what the vendor told me. They are not in a 7-gallon pot. They're in a 7-gallon squat, which we call a 5. So we're having to make some codes, this and that, but the plants are fantastic. They definitely exceeded my expectations. They're 42, 48s. The price we had to pay and how we brought them in, we have to sell them as such. So they're going to be about that 7-gallon price. The pot's just as wide, just as big. It's just a little bit shorter than our 7-gallon. I know we'd have problems calling it a 7. The vendor called it a 7, which really wasn't right. So I don't know how to get away with that, but the plants are fantastic. Cheryl will be getting photos out as soon as she gets the code in to let you know. But it's a significant number. It should be close to 2,000 when they're done coming in here by tomorrow. So that's a big number on something that we are out of. So I just wanted to get you that info. Sorry we couldn't make everything work. We thought we were good and realized we had the wrong size pot on the code. So. But that will be coming out, and that will hopefully help fill that void. So, all right. Anyone have any questions?
Hey, Dave, just real quick. I haven't been keeping up with it too much, but the woolly adlage in Ohio, is it getting better? Is it worse? Is it moving around? What's the update on that?
Well, woolly adulgid, so woolly adulgid primarily attacks hemlock, so that's its plant of choice. So Southern Ohio mostly is still the battlegrounds. There are little pockets of it in Lake County area, out in through there in a couple of spots. It really needs continuous blocks of hemlock to spread. You can imagine here where we are, there's not a lot of native hemlock stands, so it's really difficult for it to spread through, big farmland country or a lot of the cities. So the only way it gets in is if somebody brings in an infected plant. So that's where we are. I mean, overall, where we're situated for our nursery, we're in a good place. We have to be vigilant. We have to watch. Our inspectors put out traps all the time to monitor. So far, we have not found woolly adulgid here or on the perimeters of the nursery. So hopefully we can keep it that way.
Thank you.
Hey, David, this is off topic, but I had a customer ask me a question that I really didn't know the answer to and never really thought about it. What is the reason for growers, and this is all growers, it seems, what is the reason that grasses aren't forced?
Money.
Is that what it is? That's what I thought it was. I either
It's
thought it
just
was
a
money
money
or
thing. Yeah, usually grasses are kind of you think about it, it's kind of a commodity plant. It's hard to upsell them. So to really push them out, light has a big thing to do with it. You can put heat on a grass, but not too early. If you get out there and you start trying to, let's say, okay, I want this big heavy grass for landing on Mother's Day, you can't start putting heat to it much before the 20th of April because you don't have enough sunlight. And it's almost a guarantee that thing's going to stretch. You can think most grasses are full sun. They gotta have a lot of sunlight. So that's a big part of it. And then the money for the heat and everything is the other part. Yeah, we're
Thanks.
limited. I really watch it as a limiting factor for light because I've gotten myself in trouble where I've tried to push them early and then they stretch and then you got garbage.
That's good to know. I appreciate that. Thank you.